God is good, and today, guys, we're going to be talking about Elder Scrolls 6. I'm going to try not to go full napalm here, but there is a lot of controversy, and you know what? I do love the Elder Scrolls series. It's full of lore, it's fun, it's immersive. I do enjoy them. I do have to admit that they've oversimplified them a little bit too much over the iterations. However, that's not the subject we're going to be talking about today. Today, we're going to be talking about the fact of Microsoft owns Bethesda now, and as probably all of you know, that could very well mean some exclusivity, especially since we actually have information from Phil Spencer talking and kind of hinting around that it might be exclusive to Xbox and PC. That leaves PlayStation 5 players in the dust. Now, I'm a PC player. Doesn't affect me, or does it? Actually, it does, because I care about everybody getting experience games and playing them together. And I'm not a big fan of exclusivity, although from a business standpoint, I totally understand why you might want to do that to get more people on your platform, etc. But before we begin, guys, I do want to give a very big shout out to the members of Napalm. Thank you so much for keeping this channel running and supporting me and my vision here on YouTube. If you're interested in becoming a member, please click the join button down below for more information and a list of perks. And of course, if you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing that, because we do cover RPGs, JRPGs, CRPGs, and of course old school MMORPGs here on this channel. Alright, so first of all, let's break down all the details. So, in an interview with Kotaku, Phil Spencer of Microsoft was asked, is it possible to recoup a $7.5 billion investment if you don't sell Elder Scrolls 6 on the PlayStation? And of course, they're referring to the purchase from Microsoft of Bethesda. And does it make sense, right? It costs $7.5 billion, and of course they want to make that money back and start making profit, obviously. And Phil Spencer said yes, and then he said the purchase wasn't done to take games away from another player base. But then he goes on to say where people are going to be playing in the number of devices that we had, and we have xCloud and PC and Game Pass and our console base. I don't have to go ship those games on any other platform other than the platforms that we support in order to kind of make the deal work for us, whatever that means. So that's what got everybody up in an uproar, like, oh my gosh, it's not coming to PS5, etc. And you know what? The relationship between Sony and Microsoft up to the point of this recording has been a little shaky, you know, as far as allowing gamers to play together. Now, there are some examples where it has been allowed, but there's been a lot of issues there. They haven't really seen eye to eye. Now, Microsoft and Nintendo have seen more eye to eye and even done some online fist bumps and things like that. So there's a little bit better of a chance in a crazy world that we live in that actually Elder Scrolls 6 in some form could come to the Switch if you look at it from that point of view, which is insane. Absolutely crazy, but you know, it is what it is. Plus, you got to look at the sales of a game that was already aging and old, Elder Scrolls Skyrim, and how well it sold on the Switch, which was absolutely phenomenal. And of course, in my opinion, they've re-released this game in a Capcom fashion way too many times, right? Like, and what I mean by Capcom is, you know, all the Street Fighter, Super Street Fighter, Turbo Edition, you know, just on and on. Like, geez, that got on my nerves, and I hate it when developers do that, make a tiny, minute change, especially in today's atmosphere, right, where we can get patches and updates, things like that, to actually add these features. Why release a whole new game, right? Like, it's a little silly. But anyway, Skyrim has re-released over and over in many different iterations and editions, and that's a whole different that's a whole different subject. Honestly, I could go on and on about that forever, but it did sell really well, and the Switch is what I'm getting to, is the point I'm trying to make, and they have a pretty good relationship, so I can see that, right? But the story doesn't end there, because now we have Todd Howard of Bethesda, who says that restricting Elder Scrolls 6 to Microsoft platforms is hard to imagine, right? So obviously they're owned by Microsoft, so Microsoft's going to get to make that final decision, but Bethesda's going to have a big say in it. It is actually their game, and it is a big franchise that they have handled for a long time, and although they've had some bumps and some pretty awful warts on their name, especially in the last bit of time here, beyond that, Bethesda has delivered a lot of awesome AAA games. Now, So that leaves them in a position of still having some authority, even in a situation where Microsoft owns them. So if he doesn't want to do it, because, let's think of it. Bethesda makes a game, they're the developers, they just want as many people to play this freaking game as possible, as can be seen from the multiple releases of playing Skyrim even on your microwave. So they just want to get this game out, more people to play it, increase the brand awareness, new generation, newer players getting involved and wanting to play it, and, et cetera, make a ton of money, and obviously have a good reputation. That's kind of the goal, which you could say is laughable with some of the decisions they made, but it still is the goal, regardless of what they've done in the past. Now, that's the facts. That's what's going on at the time of this recording. That's as far as we've got. So I want to give my opinion real quick. I do think that it is very likely that Elder Scrolls 6 will actually release on the PS5 for sales, for making money, for recouping that back, etc. I do actually think the Xbox is in a better position this new generation than the PS5 currently, just from, sitting on the shelf and people making purchases and buying over the holidays and beyond that. I do think that the Xbox looks more attractive. Specifically, the Series X is what I'm talking about. So, but at the same time, I have issues with the Xbox Series X, specifically the name. But once again, let's get back on subject. So I actually think that what happened here was that when Microsoft made that particular comment about they don't have to release it on other platforms, I think it was more of a knee-jerk, like, look, don't give us a hard time. We can do what we want, right? We have a lot of options for players to find a way to play our game on the cloud, on Game Pass, on Xbox, on PC, etc. So we're not in any position where we have to. And the question kind of feels like, don't you kind of have to release the game on every console? Yeah. And, to a person who's running a business, I can understand there's a knee-jerk reaction there, and he said what he said. But I do actually think it is going to release on all platforms. I'm not super concerned about it. Now, there may be a timed exclusivity, kind of like Square Enix has done over and over again with Sony platforms, where we still, at the time of this recording, don't have Final Fantasy 7 Remake on Microsoft platforms or PC, which is a crying shame to me. But eventually, it will get there, right? Like, it's a timed exclusive, things will happen. They could do the same thing with Elder Scrolls. As a matter of fact, it wouldn't be that weird, because even Oblivion was launched on PC and Xbox 360, and then later came to the PS3. And of course, when it comes to the console of your choice, if you're waiting for it on your console, typically you get some bonus things for the same price tag, and you get a little extra things here and there that the older platforms probably had to pay extra for. So there is some benefits to that. Now let's just assume though that I'm wrong, and it only releases on Xbox, Game Pass, PC, etc., and does not come to the PS5. What does that mean? Well, it means that sucks for PS5 players, and I don't like that. I think that a good game that has previously been on a console type should continue to do that if possible. I think it's kind of screwed up, actually, when you leave players in the dust and you have the option, right? There are times where I just understand. Sony makes a game, right, in-house. Okay, it's going to come on the PlayStation. Now, even Sony, though, has released one of their exclusives, Horizon Zero Dawn, on the PC, which arguably you could say is a Microsoft platform, right? So even Sony, who's pretty ridiculous about their IPs, etc., has begun to understand that. And even Nintendo, who's the most brutal about that type of thing, has released some of their IPs on mobile phone, which I don't really care about mobile, but I mean, that's a step, right? That's something that is kind of crazy when you consider the history of Nintendo and the way they go to business. But it would be, in my opinion, a major mistake not to release Elder Scrolls 6 on the PS5. PS5 is going to sell well. There are going to be a lot of people. It has a lot of fanboys. Those people are going to want to play Elder Scrolls. Elder Scrolls is pretty deeply entwined in Sony fans by this point. To me, though, for consoles, and I think Elder Scrolls, even before Microsoft bought Bethesda, already my brain already thinks of the Xbox platform. If I'm thinking of consoles, well, my brain thinks of PC first, because these are PC games. Let's just be honest. The Elder Scrolls series is a PC platform game. But when I think of consoles, I do think of Xbox first, and that's because I actually played Morrowind on my original Xbox, you know, the big one with the big green X on the top of it that very few people own, didn't do so hot. But I did play Morrowind on that before I actually played it on PC, and it was an amazing experience, especially for a console player. We weren't used to getting this big of an epic open world at that time. That was insane. And because of that experience for me, and I know there's lots of other people out there like that, I do think of Microsoft Xbox first when I think of an Elder Scrolls platform, and being on a console, of course. What do you guys think? Does it even matter? Does any of this even matter, right? Like, here's the deal. If it doesn't come on PS5, okay, well, then it's not on that platform. Most serious gamers own at least 2 platforms, right? PC and a console, or 2 consoles, or whatever. Now, I know a lot of people can't afford that, and I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm just saying. And plus, when you purchase a console, for the most part, for the mass majority of people, they don't run out and buy it immediately. They wait and see what games are going to be on it and which platform they want to decide based on exclusivities and third-party support and all that kind of thing, right? So we're at the very beginnings of the new console race, and I do believe that no matter what happens, guys, here's the deal. It's one of those things where this is why we say PC's master race, right? Because we typically get all the games, right? Like, it's the most safest platform. Now, that's not always true, and a lot of times we do have to wait for the game to get to our platform, but we typically don't have to worry about these kind of shenanigans, right? It doesn't affect us as much. You know, it really doesn't. Now, I play console games too, and I love consoles, and I don't know which one I'm going to purchase first, although I am leaning Xbox, to be honest with you, just simply by the way the freaking thing looks. I mean, look at the PS5. It's a monstrosity. It looks like a generic console that you would buy for like $30 at Target, some random thing just laying, not even, you know, locked away, just kind of laying on a shelf somewhere that you would play. It looks dumb. It looks really dumb. I'm sorry, but it does. It's a stupid looking console. I don't know what they were going for when they anyway. But the Xbox looks like a little mini PC. It looks like a little tower, man. I kind of like it. I kind of dig that. And the glowing green on the end there, I think that might be for the fan. I don't know. But anyway, guys, what do you think? Does it bother you? Are you upset? Are you a Sony fanboy and you are pissed? Are you a Microsoft fanboy and you're super happy and you're just like, haha, that's what you get? Let me know in the comments down below where you stand on this issue. But honestly, guys, no matter what happens, don't be too upset. We're still probably a far way away from Elder Scrolls 6 actually launching. Anyway, there's going to be plenty of time, and I'm sure they're digging into communities and watching people's reactions and probably trying to decide exactly what to do there. And I actually do believe they haven't made a full concrete decision yet, and I think it will be largely based off of how is this going to affect us, because at the end of the day, especially Microsoft, they know the game. They know it's all about making money, it's all about making max profit, and it's about, to do that, you have to get the game out to many people, and Microsoft for many years has been all about that. They own lots of things that are on multiple platforms I'd like to mention as well, such as Minecraft, right? That's on freaking everything, and that is owned by Microsoft, so it's a good example that they don't always hold things in a gaming prison simply on their platform, so I wouldn't be too concerned just yet. But I want to make a video, give my opinion, and also state the facts of what we know so far, because when you look at it from a zoomed out perspective, you can kind of see that it's not as scary as many people are making it out to be. And guys, I hope you enjoyed the video today. Of course, a big shout out to the members of Napalm for keeping this channel running. Advertisements kind of suck, and you guys are helping me and fueling my dream here on YouTube, and thank you so much. And if you're interested in helping support the Nathan Napalm channel, please click the join button down below for more information and a list of perks. And until next time, guys, God bless and happy gaming. Please listen to what I say. I've been making videos all day. It's a video buffet, you can even hit replay. But please just subscribe. I can't even describe being part of my tribe. I'll even offer you a prize, but please just subscribe and hit the bell notification too.